Howdy everybody, T Walker aka Tanner coming back to you tonight to do another video, another update for my system. This is going to be video numero 2 for my system. Mention a few things before I get started. I've biked about 30 miles today, probably more, and went surfing and studied the GRE for 6 hours, like seriously 6 hours of studying. So if I seem a bit loopy or fried, you know why. Yeah, I'm pretty brain dead, but I really wanted to do this video and get it out there. So it'd be like, you know, Easter when I wake up tomorrow and it's, or Christmas, I wake up tomorrow, it's like, oh, look at all those comments, it's like presents. Okay, so this video is on skills. Now, there may be some cussing in this video just because I'm going through the process it took me to get to where I am now, which was awful and painstaking, and it was an experience to say the least. And okay, anyway, so skills. Azurk83 Aaron has an amazing video on skills. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. It's good. It's a really well thought out, really poignant piece on what skills really are in most systems. And as he puts it so very nicely, skills are a list of shit that I can't do. For the most part, in systems it's true. Let's use our favorite D&D for an example. If, you know, I'm not sure if this is actually a skill, but, you know, the fishing skill. Who puts points into the fishing skill? Why? Why would you do that? Instead of like spots or something, you put points into fishing. What you've really done is, you know, taking your character and... Because mechanically, a spot is infinitely times better than fishing. Even if you're in like a thing where you're going to be fishing a lot, spot is better. Just straight up better. Like hide, move silently, you know, search, spot, listen, all better. Better. Now this is a problem, because you get people, as Ander Woodwad mentions, the minimizers, the people who want to do something that makes sense for their character, to purposely makes their character bad mechanically, to prove some sort of role-playing whatever. Now this was a problem to me. I did not want people to have to choose the fishing skill and then screw themselves up the butthole for like everything else they want to do in the entire game. And also, Azurk83 Aaron, he made a good point. A fighter should be able to do what a fighter is able to do. A rogue should be able to do what a rogue is able to do. A rogue should be able to sneak. He should be able to move silently. He should be able to do or hide, all these different things he should be able to do, because he's a rogue. That's what rogues do. So he had an interesting way of doing it, and I'm not sure what stage of D&D this was, but you know, your character level, that's your bonus onto your dice roll. Now I thought that was pretty cool, because a rogue should do but what a rogue should be able to do. Now I had a few problems with it though. It's like, okay, well, doesn't that make all rogues the same? I was like, no, we can't make them the same. That was my exact face when I was thinking of that. Which I did have a problem with. I didn't want all rogues to be the same. I wanted rogues to be different, even if they did share some key skills. So what happened was I made... sorry, I dropped dice. I'm going to put them down before I become transfixed by them. So another thing that always bugged me about D&D were the synchronizing things. As you went up in this skill, you also got 2 points bonus in that one. Just the ability to keep track of those numbers was like that to me. But it did do something cool. I thought to myself, you know, what if all the skills that are related were actually the same skill. If you go up 2 points for going up 1 point in this skill, shouldn't they be the same thing? Alright, I'll get to fishing in a second, but we're going to bring you to my main skills. So what I did was, I was like, alright, what if skills were more like classes? Like Azurk said, what if skills were not a list of 400 different intricacies you could put points into, but you know, the 390 you can never do because you will always fail horribly. Not a good thing. So instead of 400 skills, my system has 11. That covers everything, actually. 11 skills covers everything you do in the entire system. Kind of. I'll get to that later. But, for the most part, I have a main skill. When you put a point in this main skill, you get points into everything that skill has to do with. Everything. For example, combat. I put a point into combat. Whenever it comes to combat, I am considered to have 1 point. Whether it's dodging, whether it's attacking, whether it's shooting with a bow, whether it's throwing a weapon. 1. I have a skill of 1. No matter. Zzz. I've got a skill of 1. Alright. Now, each of my skills is broken down into 4 different subcategories. And you're like, oh great, now you put... No. When you put a point into the main skill, and you can only put points into the main skill, you can't put points just into the subcategory alone, you have to put points into the main skill. You get a point into each of the subcategories. However, you do get 1 additional point to spend where you want. For example, I put a point into combat, which means I have 1 point in melee combat, 1 point in parrying and or dodging, 1 point in ranged combat, and 1 point in throwing weapons. Ranged with like a bow. Alright. Now I choose another place to put a point. So my combat score will be at 1, but when it comes to this one thing, it'll be at 2. It's like a specialization. Actually, it is a specialization, because I wanted rogues to be different from each other. So I put a point into combat, and I put an extra point into melee. So while I can do all those combat-y things really well, I do melee especially well. Now, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to run through my list of skills and then explain to you what they do and where the other ones are. We have combat. Its subgroups are melee, parry, range, and throw. Alright? Melee is everything melee. Two-handed sword, boxing, polearm, spear. Melee. Melee. You get the point. It's a broad category. Gossip. This is your gather information. Alright? You're like, gossip, what are you talking about? That's not an important skill. My system it is, my setting. See, skills are dependent on setting. This is something I came to realize. So, for example, you're not going to have, you know, a craft gun skill in high fantasy most of the time. Actually, never. High fantasy, no. So, gossip. Gossip is broken down into 4 categories again. Fey, common, religious, and nobility. All very important, all very good. When you put a point into gossip, you get a point into each of those, and you get to choose one to specialize in every time you put a point into it. So I put 1 point into gossip, so I have 1 in all of them, and I put an extra point into Fey. Next time I put a point into it, I get another point in all of them, and I put a point into common. It goes up, I can specialize, I can change. Athletics. The subcategories of athletics are fitness, strength, constitution, and balance. Constitution is your inward, this is how well your internal body works. Your fitness is your endurance, your strength is your ability to lift crap, and your balance is your balance. Stealth. This is another big ol' skill. Move silently, hide, track, and cover. And what cover is hiding things that are not you. Traps, your footsteps. That. We then have medical. Medical gave me some problems, but maybe in a later video I'll talk about that. We have first aid, which is sewing up people. Ingredients. What do you mean ingredients? Well, in my setting, most medical things are done with herbs. So if you're going to be a doctor, you're gonna have to know about herbs now, aren't you? Ingredients. Understanding Arcana. You're like, why is that in the medical thing? Because it needs to. If you're a doctor in my setting and you don't know anything about magic, how are you going to treat people who are under the effects of curses? Which is gonna happen a lot. Deserves to be there. Don't question me. Alright, lore. Now, you're like, well, how is lore different than gossip? Lore is ancient history. Gossip is what's going on now. They're good. Both are. I've tested them. They work. Don't question me. Lore. And again, it's broken up to the four categories. Fae, common, religion, nobility. As you learn about one, you will also learn about the others. I mean, try to learn American history while learning nothing about other countries. Can't do it. Anyway, next skill is, this one's the name is under construction still, because I've been lazy. I'm calling it Gadgeteer. Pretty much what it is you're good with your fingers. Very delicate. This has to do with like art or drawing. That's a side thing of it. That's not one of the main categories. The main categories are disable device, undo a trap or a lock, craft device, making gadgets. It's good. Crafting is actually good in my system. I should do another video about crafting. Alright, escape artist, undoing things. I actually might change that one. I don't like it so much, but I'm still finding something else. But sleight of hands is the other one. Hiding things, palming things, stealing things, pickpocketing, all that good stuff. Boop, mine. Next one is speechcraft. And we have persuade, intuit, which is knowing if someone's lying to you. Inspire, which is, it's really cool the way this works. It's not completely useless. You actually are able to give skill dice to other people through your speech, bolster them. And then disguise. Now disguise is not so much persuading, it's persuading without speech. It's body language, it's movement. It's not, putting a disguise on your face. It's actually being able to look as if you are something else. Then we have the smith skill. They're really good, actually. Like my crafting system is good. It will, if you put points into smith, you will be a good part of the group. I made sure of it. And you won't be overpowered. I also made sure of that. Anyway, we have create weapons, create armor, repair weapons, repair armor. There we go. Animal, which is a cool one. You can, when you put a point into animal, you get a point into train, ride, communicate, and leatherworking, skinning, and all that type of stuff. Yeah? How are you gonna know how to... I mean, if you're dealing with animals, you're gonna have this vast amount of... You get it. The other one is focus. This is the big skill, which is composure, willpower, detect, and initiative. Alright? These are the skills. These are the main skills. I'm going to have to talk fast because I'm running out of time. So these are the main skills. These will make you be able to do pretty much everything you would be able to do in my setting. Now, you're thinking, where is my basket weaving skill, damn it? I want it. I want it now. Most likely that would be under the Gadgeteer craft device, or it's good with your fingers. That's what that skill is. But say it's not. Say basket weaving is not. No, that's not what basket weaving is. You don't understand basket weaving. Fine. For any skill that does not matter, and yes, there are skills that do not matter, and you want them, you have them, and you're considered to have 3 skill points in them. Just always. These are your background. You're probably not going to fine-tune them during the game. You have 3 background points in them. Go for it. I mean, if you want... And, if you're a player and I want all of them, that's just silly, guys. Why would you want all of them? Flavor your character. Don't try to make him overpowered. Not that you will by giving him, fishing, basket weaving, painting, all those little things. You're not going to overpower him by giving him useless skills. So, you know what? Go for it. Now, these skills are all there are. They are also your stats. There are no stats. There is no strength, charisma, no. These skills are broad enough that they are themselves stats. Stats are flavor. You can flavor your skills however you want. You can say your combat skill comes from your fast moving abilities, or it comes from your brute strength and willpower. Whatever you want, that's what you got, and I'm running out.